Hey everybody, welcome to episode 96 of Open Play Podcast, here with Preston and Mason this week, and we're going to talk about some games we played, as well as some hobby stuff we're doing, and a little mention of the WTC that just wrapped. So going to hobby stuff, Mason and Preston, what y'all working on lately?
I am currently painting my other Defiler, because I'll talk about it a little bit when we talk about my game, but I ran 2 Defilers for a little bit, and 700 points for crabs is still really good for crabs, so definitely want to get 2 of them painted, that way when they get nerfed, I can be like, oh, but I have 2 painted.
Cool, you'll have one I can borrow when they get nerfed and only want to run one.
Yep, that way you don't ever have to build yours.
Anyway, I appreciate that, thank you, it'll just stay in the box.
Teamwork.
What about you, Preston?
I've been painting up some Terminators, been running some Ravenguard with Terminators in it. I'm not sure how long this will last. I suspect Terminators will be taking a hit in an upcoming update, and also Vengeful Host is a little tricky with Terminators because it wants you to take a bunch of jump packs, but right now I've just been running Shadowmark with Librarius, and Librarius is really good with Terminators, so gotta get my 20 painted up for this weekend.
I'm assuming punchy Terminators?
1 unit of punching, 1 unit of shooting. I actually really like the shooting Terminators. They put out 44 Stormbolter shots, plus a Smite, plus 2 Cyclone Missile Launchers. They very consistently kill 3 units if I get a good rapid ingress, because I'll like mow down 2 chaff units in shooting and then charge a 3rd target and pick it up. I mean, Power Fists are just Thunderhammers without dev wounds, and yeah, you don't get the shield, but it just allows them to pick off a lot of units that are kind of annoying for the way my army's built right now. So, and they're cheaper than Assault Terminators.
Fair enough.
They also, Librarius has the enhancement Tuppy Downy every turn, so being able to like take a hard angle, like shoot your missiles, shoot your maybe some Stormbolters, kill like a medium to light target that you don't want to full commit into. And then the Terminators are really hard to kill at range effectively, so people are pretty scared to commit into a shooting war against them. I found like I played Guard over the weekend and they had the Hippogriffs, which are like T7, 8 wounds, something like that. And so that's a really good target for a Terminator squad to come out and kill in shooting. Reroll 1s to hit and wound for Librarius. And then, well, they're like, I don't really want to go shoot a Russ because the Russ is only going to kill a Terminator or 2, and then it opens the Russ up to like my Centurions and things. So they get to operate pretty freely in the first couple of turns, pick up targets that are medium to light, and then in the middle of the game, then they full commit and do the Terminator job of just being like super bulky in the middle of the opponent's army and disrupt their lines. So yeah, all that to say, I really enjoyed the shooting and punching split in my army, and I have got 15 painted and I need to get 5 more done for this weekend.
Only 20? You're going to run 30?
No, 20 plus Librarians is like 900 points, so...
Well, you could technically run 60 if you run 3 squads of 10 of each variant.
I don't even know if you could run 60. I think that's more than 2,000 points.
Oh, well, how unfortunate. The rules stop you from having fun.
Just ignore the rules and cheat. Bring 3,000 points, see if anybody notices.
That is technically an option.
That is an option. I have a box of Ogres that I've still yet to open.
Nice.
Yeah, I need to get the Codex out, but the Codex won't be able to be in the app till, Battle Tome out till, 2 weeks? Because they just went for pre-order, maybe a week. But hey, Ogres are cool.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I have my Exodites box, and just looking at the box art, looks really nice.
Yeah, it looks really nice on a shelf. So let's talk about some games we played lately. Do y'all have any games of note that you've played that you kind of want to just high-level talk about? I don't know if recent RTTs you went to or played in.
I've been really enjoying the Coterie Conceded change for priority assets. It feels way better than Purge the Foe. It sounds like a weird... at launch, it made sense that Purge the Foe was... or Coterie Conceded was Purge the Foe because, Coterie wants to kill stuff to get their points up. It's an elite army. They just want to all in you. But despite how fast Emperor's Children is, they just weren't really fast enough to, reach out and hit people in their deployment zone. And some matchups just let people sit in their deployment zone and just wasn't really good. Priority assets really just wants to play in the center of the table. And I'm just like, you can't stay safely in the middle of the table with most units because, I can run past the center objective and hit you pretty easily. There's staging points in most things. And like I said before, I think the Emperor's Children Defiler is the best Defiler in the game right now. Being able to advance and shoot and basically ignoring cover is a very, very good rule. So I think it's the best. 700 points for 2 crabs is where I'm at. I'm currently testing the Reaper autocannons instead of the las cannons. I know the Reaper autocannons are automatic in Carnival of Access because they get sustained and they get sustained in crit 5s. But I'm trying them in Coterie just to kind of see what it is. I don't haven't found a lot of super high toughness units in the meta right now. Typically, it's mostly infantry, so they're better against infantry than the last cannons are, just because there's more shots. I played my buddy's. He was playing Black Templar, and I don't know if it's points or what, but like Black Templar feel like they're in a really bad place, but they feel like they have good rules that could be used. Like he had the 20-man Crusader blobs, and he was playing the detachment that basically, if he had a chaplain in there and an ancient in there, it had a 5-up invuln against ranged attacks and -1 to wound on objectives and stuff like that. So it's it's a pretty tough unit, and it can blood surge, and surging in 11th edition is really good. So it ends up being like 10 inches. If you're within 10 inches, you can be surged into. But like he just didn't have very much stuff because like that 20-man brick's really expensive. So you have 2 of those, and it just kind of takes everything up. I think that Black Templar are just kind of in a bad way. I think they're like probably one of the worst Space Marine chapters, just because like they don't get any of the super good help that a lot of the other Space Marine chapters do, and their good stuff is just really expensive. Sword Brother are really expensive. Crusaders are really expensive.
They're bottom of the pile as far as win rate goes right now.
Oh well, yeah, I guess win rate reflects on what I'm saying there then. But yeah, I will say I shot 2 Defilers at a 20-man brick and it didn't die. I mean, it wasn't exactly combat ready afterwards, but he still had a couple guys floating around after getting shot by 2 Defilers.
And to your point about Defilers, out of 725 recorded games, they have a 70% presence.
Yeah, I was really a second Defiler hater. I was like, no, Noise Marines are so good, they can advance and shoot, like they're cheap enough to skirmish. And then I played with the second Defiler. I'm like, nope, I was just really stupid. I'm like, I was just a big old dumb boy. 2 Defilers is way better than running Noise Marines, so cheers to that, brother.
Gee, when do you think they got refreshed based on the stat?
Yeah, who knows? Who could possibly know?
0% through March of 2026, and then they somehow shot up.
Yeah, so Defilers are so good right now that the last data slate was the first data slate ever where the Winged Demon Prince didn't go up in points.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves it.
That's how good Defilers are.
We need to stop deflecting from the real issues. He's a menace.
He's pretty good. I in my game against my Black Templar opponent, I didn't run any.
They need to be bigger is what they need to be. They need to not be on that tiny ass base.
100mm base or stop or nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's a little crazy because they got better in 11th edition, right? Because now they can go through walls and you're running less of them just because the Defilers are just carrying you so hard. They just do so much damage. They just plug a lot of holes in the army, and Emperor's Children's an army that loves to have its holes plugged.
There it is.
I literally have to make a joke like that about Emperor's Children, otherwise people don't think that I'm a real Emperor's Children player.
That's fair. Let's look into these stats. This unit has a 58.5% win rate. This unit.
I don't know how a unit can have a win rate, but that's pretty funny.
I'm assuming it's based on the amount of lists that were in this unit.
Specifically the Emperor's Children Defiler?
Yeah. This is just I think it's just the EC based on what I'm saying, but maybe it's for everybody. I don't know. I'm still not.
No, because it says Brazen Engines down there too.
Sure, how much he does his stats. Like
that's still crazy because Death Guard is a bad army right now. So the fact that that's still, maybe they're not running it as much just because they don't have the points for it. But
Demon Prince 21.2%.
Also, I feel as though that looking at this now, we should also talk about the fact that we made a comment before that Chaos Space Marines got taken outside and shot in the head and nerfed. Pac-Bound Zealots, I'm pretty sure, is still an army.
Yeah, there are. It's like the must be this tall to ride of the factions right now. Like, if you can't deal with 2 to 3 Defilers in Pac-Bound Zealots, that army will just run you over, no matter how many points the rest of the other army is.
Yep.
Pac-Bound Zealots before had 900 points of trash, and now it has 700 points of trash. But it could have 0 points of trash, and sometimes it will still win games if you just can't clear the hurdle of 3 Defilers and Abaddon.
Renegade Raider seems to be winning a decent bit, even if only 10 players.
I don't know how. Just Chaos Space Marines doesn't seem like an army that wants to play recon to me, so I don't know how they're doing that. I guess if you kill your opponent, you just score points afterwards.
Yeah, it shows high on stat check too.
Huh.
But that's, 7 players versus not a lot, I guess. Okay. They're all very low player counts.
Yeah, I still think that a lot of the missions in general just need to have the numbers brought down a little bit. I don't think it should be as easy to score 45 points of primary as it is right now.
I was looking at part of this list because I forgot how many detachments Chaos Space Marine have.
Yeah, they have Space Marines on the name, so they got a lot of detachments.
I was about to make the same joke.
Oh, sorry, Preston. I stole your thunder.
But overall, you're liking EC again.
Yeah, I really like EC. I liked Eldari when I was playing it too. too. I just I know that the crab boil is going to come, so I might as well just enjoy them while I can.
Will you still like EC after crab nerf?
Yes, but I don't know how they'll be shaped up in the meta, so I don't. What I believe is going to happen is what I believe GW often does to Chaos armies when they have a good unit like this, is they nerf everything, including the things that were fine if you remove the crab from the equation. So I think EC is going to have at least a data slate period where they are not very good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe GW has learned from its mistakes in the past, but GW has had a very heavy hand with Chaos in the past, so I emotionally prepare for the worst case.
The shotgun approach, not the scalpel.
And it's not I'm obviously not going to sell my EC, so if they're better than I think, oh hey, I just pick up a different case and take it to the shop with me instead of taking one case, I take the other one.
And what about you, Preston?
I played a RTT yesterday, and I had a couple of really fun games, really interesting games, very close games, and they were both into Disruption, which was something I hadn't played against, at least not with Recon. I played with Disruption a few times, testing Shadowmark Talon. I didn't like it. I felt like a lot of the matchups were very biased against me, very terrain dependent, and also they required too much out of my army in a bunch of different ways depending on what I played against. So that's why I ended up putting Librarius in and taking Recon, even with more of an elite style list. I felt like Recon was just more achievable. But so my round 1 I played against the White Scars Spearpoint Task Force with the Speeder Detachment, and that was playing Disruption. And then my round 3 was against the Death Guard Detachment where they get Poxwalkers, like a bunch of extra Poxwalker units. I forget what the name of it is. And that was also playing Disruption.
Shamble Rot Vectorum?
Maybe. I couldn't tell you.
Alright, I'm glad I could help.
And it was a very funny mission. So the way it works is that the Disruption player has to do an action on a objective, and then it becomes marked for the rest of the game. But if a Recon player touches the objective in any way, shape, or form, if they end any kind of move with any model, it could be battle shocked, it could be 0 OC, like a Nurgling, whatever, then the thing goes away. And so it almost felt like the two players are working together to score, because the Recon player scores when they remove markers and the Disruption player scores when they place them. So both of my games we ended up maxing primary, and the Death Guard player maxed it on turn 4. They straight up just went 6 points, 14, 14, 14, and had 50 primary on turn 4. And I was like, this is ridiculous. What are we doing here? Yeah, so my first game, I won 93-88, and then my second game, I won 98-92 or something. It was a huge scoring fest just on both sides, because it really didn't feel like there was any counterplay. The crazy thing was that, the markers go down at the end of the turn, so even if you make moves during the turn, they still don't actually get placed until the end. I had situations where a thing was doing an action on a terrain piece that I was standing on, and then I got charged by a second unit, I did a pile in, I did a consolidate, and then the marker went down at the end of the turn, and they scored their points anyway. And I was like, this is nonsense. But yeah, they were very fun games. They were very close. My game 1, my Reavers came in clutch. I had initially taken them because they're the cheapest jump pack unit you can take at 75 points, and I just wanted a 5-man Deep Strike to do recon things. But what ended up happening was they got charged by Sabota Khan's big bike squad, and they battle shocked the squad. And then that meant that Sabota Khan couldn't do a reactive move, and so I nailed a charge with my Terminators and picked them up. So that was pretty important. The main weakness of the list is that if you go against a lot of very fast things, it's very hard to not get hit first and pick your engagements. So being able to hit his most speedy unit in his army and get it out of the way early was clutch. And then game 3, again, more reactive moves. Why does Mortarion allow Defilers a reactive move? I have no idea. That was disgusting. But we ended up getting through in the end thanks to Mortarion getting really sad and depressed. He heroic into me. Well, so first he tried to heroic when I charged a Defiler, and he rolled a 5 and failed. And then the next turn, he went in and killed 4 and took some damage back. And then on turn 4 at this point of him trying to kill these Terminators, he had his 15 attacks, and he rolled 7 ones to hit and killed 2 more. And so he ended up just spending the entire game trying to clear out my shooting Terminators in his backfield. And that allowed the rest of my army to kind of clean up everything else and score a bunch of points while he was busy trying to not let me take my home. But yeah, so I had a lot of fun with the list. It does a lot of good work. The really cool thing is that the Terminator teleport homers normally are pretty telegraphed, right? You put them down at the start of the game, you can rapid ingress near them for free, and then they go away. But with Shadowmark Talon, because you're picking up your Terminators so much, you can deploy the beacons really, really aggressively. Very often, I'll put one beacon kind of near the midfield where I would rapid to like connect with a key threat, and then I'll put another beacon like on their home objective and just be like, all right, I'm going to pick my Terminators up for 4 turns, and if you don't guard your home objective, I'm just going to rapid on it and take it. And sometimes armies just can't afford to do that. Sometimes armies need to go forward and deal with your stuff, and they're not scoring points for holding their home, but they also can't afford to have units sit back and guard it the entire game. And so I really like that a lot. The other thing that's nice about having 2 Terminator units is that I end up leapfrogging them a lot, where I'll rapid ingress one, it'll clear a section of the board and push forward, and then the opponent will come forward to deal with it, and I'll rapid my second unit behind the first one in the space that opened up. And then they'll go in front of the remnants of the Terminators, like maybe I got 2 or 3 left with a Librarian, and clear more space. And then the remnants of the other unit will go forward and you know, hit something, go into a corner, be really annoying to deal with because they're still Terminators, and clear more space. And so it's a really cool dynamic there where they work off each other to create pockets where they can come out of deep strike and then clear a bunch of space and control the board. And because they have a reactive move, they're really good at stopping the opponent from just pushing forward and dealing with you, which is what Shadowmark Talon kind of struggled with, was sometimes the enemy would put 2 or 3 like critical units in front of your face, and you only really had Centurions as reliable damage. Vanguard Veterans were good, but they weren't like world-ending. But now you have damage-dealing units with Librarius rerolling once to hit and wound is mostly what I stay in. I don't find I need the extra movement with Shadowmark Talon allowing me to jump my Terminators around a lot. And then it keeps the opponent from pushing forward, and it also gives you extra units that can deal damage outside of your Centurions, and they're not super oath reliant either. So I like the way the list works together a lot. It synergizes with each other very effectively, and it's pretty light on trash, but when you have the 3 giant units that are kind of world-ending threats, like any one of the units can just walk through the opponent's army if they don't deal with it and be careful, and so they can't really dedicate resources to killing all the trash that they want, and so my trash ends up doing multiple jobs. It's not just like they come in, they do one thing and they die. Sometimes they'll do 2 things, and trash really in general is not as important this edition. There's only 2 actions in the entire secondary deck, Plunder and Cleanse, and then playing Recon, there's only I think 2 primaries where you have to do actions, which is the Recon Mirror and maybe against Purge the Foe. I'm enjoying it a lot. I expect it will take hits in the upcoming data slate, but until then I'm going to keep playing it and having a bunch of fun. The really cool thing about Ravenguard right now is that with the release of Vengeful Host, you can go back to the more traditional Ravenguard style list where you take a bunch of Inceptors and Deep Strike and you teleport them around. You take a bunch of Vanguard Veterans with Cave on Shrike and they can, you know, go deal with some threats. You can take your Captains and Chaplains with Jump Packs and play a more traditional style Ravenguard list. So it's really cool that Ravenguard has 2 different builds right now, because there's some points in 40k where Ravenguard has 0 builds. So it's nice to have some variety. It's nice to have different directions to take the army, and it's nice that they're viable competitively as well.
Glad you get to enjoy them at least. You know, you started rebuilding that, end of last edition, right?
Yeah, I started building them, I want to say September, and then Shadowmark Talon and the Eighth and Sean model dropped in October. So it was right around the time that I was picking up Marines anyway.
And then they quickly nerfed their detachment.
Yeah, but they were still playable for sure. They never stopped being like a detachment that you could play and do well with.
Yeah, I don't know if they didn't nerf it super quickly, but I think that people were really afraid of the army, and I think that it was just like an A+ army. It wasn't like an S tier army that people were acting like it was terrorizing everybody. Preston was terrorizing people, but that's just because Preston's a savage.
Yes, this is true. Pick any army he plays.
Dude, I can't wait for you to take on Noah with Leagues of Votann.
Dude, I will never play that army. That army seems horrifically boring.
I mean, yeah, I was very much enjoying playing them at 9th, and the rules came out for 10th, and I'm like, well, they've been in cases all edition, and it doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon for me.
But they're on an upswing. They're winning.
It's not about whether or not they're good. It's just like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Now people are actually taking Earthshakers. I'm shocked. I don't know their stats. I don't remember.
They do like dwarf things, I think.
That's fair. That makes sense. For that, 4 event wins. I mean, they're not It's not org numbers, but
yeah, I mean they're definitely a decent army right now. I liked them when they were an elite army that was like, it was different. I liked it when they did damage, and now I don't feel as though they do that much damage. I feel as though now mostly they win by mission play.
Yeah, they haven't been an elite army since 10th. So of course they were half an army for most of that edition because they only got all their extra models when their codex came out. So yeah, they had like no R models.
Yeah, extra models here means they had more than 9 data sheets.
Well, yeah. They have a couple now, at least like 12.
And almost all of them are playable.
Yeah, almost. I think if they had a list of all the units, but they don't.
Yeah, I mean, they really padded the data sheet count also by separating Steeljacks into 2 data sheets.
Well, the Capri Suns are 2 data sheets too.
Yeah, the Doc Brown guy exists too.
Yeah, the Arcanist Evaluator, right?
Yep.
That's the guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they still don't have many sheets. That's 12, 13, 20, 22 sheets total?
That's approaching World Leaders territory at this point.
World Leaders have more?
Yeah, probably more closer to Emperor's Children territory.
Speaking of World Leaders, let's talk about them in a second.
Have you played any other games to World Leaders since, or you just been vibing?
Yeah, so I did play 2 weeks ago. I got a game in through TTS.
Nice.
Played this list here, which was 2 Slaughterbound, 1 attached to Exalt, 1 with an Exalted group, another Slaughterbound with an Exalted group. Karn, your standard 10 Zerkers and Rhino. I did actually play Ingron this game. Ingron was very much almost a distraction Karn effects for me. The other player didn't really target him much, and Ingron void and killed what he needed to kill, but he was kind of left alone. He wasn't really doing a whole lot. Couple spawned, whole bunch of 8-bound, and I ran Forge Fiends over Defilers because I wanted to run a list that I could actually field physically if I liked the list, because I have all this built and painted already.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then, Jackals is normal for home objective stuff, but it wasn't a bad list. I played against a lot of plasma.
I'm still on the fence about World Leaders as an army. I do think that the points cuts they got were very well received.
Surprisingly, I was surprised by the amount of green on the data slate.
I was also, but I wasn't. I shouldn't have been. They got what they needed because boy howdy, were World Leaders struggling beforehand.
Yeah, I mean they're still not a top tier army, but I think they're fun still because it was a Purge mirror, so I was Purge, they were Purge.
I will say Purge mirrors are fun.
Yeah, it was fun. They had a lot of plasma and torrent weapons, and it didn't really matter because they didn't roll that great, and I got some good charges in. But having the Slaughterbound with the Glaive and 3 Exalted and Deep Strike as a threat just to kill whatever I needed them to kill when I needed them to kill it was always just handy, because that's what that group does. It just, you point it and it just kills what you need dead.
Yep, it's your one tap all unit.
Karn still hits pretty well. I mean, Karn and the Berserkers were clearing out units. Ingron would always clear out what he needed to. I mean, his sweep was pretty successful for me overall.
Well, here's hoping he gets Cleave 4.
Yeah, I was looking at Sheik because I was like, does he have Cleave? Sadly, no.
Nope.
But we'll see when they get our Codex this year. We got it earlier than I anticipated the last edition, so we'll see where it comes to this edition.
Yeah, the new Gaz datasheet, I'm really hoping for all these centerpiece models, when they get their refresh, they get some serious glow-ups. Like, I don't think Gilliman needs to be, tweaked that much, but I think, and Magnus is probably fine how he is. Well, Magnus is definitely fine how he is now, too. But I think all the other Primarchs really need to be tweaked so they're, because they're melee-oriented, and they kind of don't do melee so well in this current edition. At least Fulgrim doesn't. Angron hits one thing and then dies.
Generally, yeah.
Or like you said, or hits one thing and he's kind of left alone on his own little island.
Yeah, because he's not worth putting the firepower into a lot of times when you need to take everything else out.
Yeah, if you kill everything else on the board, then Angron kills one thing a turn.
And Ingron's auras need help still.
Yeah, I mean, he legally has auras, but they don't do anything, so.
I don't think I used one the entire game. I knew they were there, but it's just none of them were really worth using to me. Although he did hit one 12-inch charge. I was proud of him.
That's my boy.
But it was a fun game. It was good. I like the disposition system. The secondary cards, just filling up the board, caching some for later was weird to me still. But I see how people score 40 points at the end of the game.
Yeah, if you got units, it's really easy to walk onto a terrain piece on your opponent's side of the board and plunder it for 5 points, and then stand in the center for another 5 points, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I just scored 15 points on secondary.
Yeah, I mean, even that game I almost max scored. I mean, it was 93 to 44 that game. It helped though that they went first, because I really wanted them to go first. I did not want to go first.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same as 10th edition Purge the Foe. You want to go second on that because you want to know how many things you have to kill. Oh, it's not as bad because it's just the last turn, but still.
Yeah, but I mean, it's when you get an army that wants to do nothing but shoot you, it's nice to have them have to come out first. It makes my charges that much better. But yeah, I enjoyed it. We'll have to get a game in at some point. I'm curious how badly you would trounce this list.
Yeah, we can get a game in sometime, either with my Emperor's Children or my Eldar.
Only if you play 3 Defilers.
Damn, I only have 2.
Just put a base down. It'll count as 1.
There we go. All right, that's fine.
Or, get a knight and put it down. Or, you have some, you have the big Votann vehicles. Use one of them.
I'll just put Fulgrim on a 160.
Isn't he on a 160?
He's on a 130.
Oh, okay.
But it's with his big doofy wings. Like, he's big enough that it won't matter.
Yeah, he's impossible to move anyway, so why not? Well, I guess it's a little bit better now, but still not great.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that he has mobile, I'm pretty sure that he's fast. He just doesn't do anything once he gets there. But he's relatively tough because he gets neg 2 to hit.
I was going to say, would you actually run him?
No, not at his current point cost. I think he's 340.
Okay. 10 points more than Angron for someone that sees less play.
Yeah, mobile does a lot to make it easier for him to move around, and then, he's somewhat survivable. He only has 6 attacks, man. That's just his kind of...
Yeah, he's in 43% of lists, so, he's not run that much.
I don't think he's bad enough that you're punting if you take him. I'll say that. I think that he is fine, but I just, personally, for me, I don't want to play him. Also, multiple Defilers and Fulgrim, you're basically chalking yourself up to not have an army at all.
Yeah, it's 2 Lord of Skulls and Angron all over again.
Yep. The Helldrake, though, now we're in it.
174 points, you could take it.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Flying models are really good, right? Planes, aircraft.
It's not an aircraft anymore. Now it's just as a hover view, but it's still terrible.
Why would you ever take this?
I don't know, because you hate yourself enough that you painted all the trim and you want to put it on the table.
That's also fair, though. If you put that much effort into it, you're going to want to put it on the table.
Yeah.
Hey, it's got anti-fly 2+.
Yeah, you can go attack Angron and wound him on 2s.
Yeah.
And do 7 damage to him, and then he kills you back.
Good model. But yeah, that's the only game I've played recently. The most recent game, I guess. So, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I took this weekend off to do some stuff around the house and to do a little bit of hobbying. So this next RTT next weekend will be exciting for me. I expect Preston to thoroughly punch me in the face repeatedly.
Dude, just play the triple Defiler Carnival build that WTC has been rocking, where you just...
I only have 2 Defilers and I only have 10 Demonettes.
Damn. You should fix that in the next 5 days.
I could just buy 2 of the Slanesh Spearheads from Age of Sigmar, and that will give me enough Demonettes. It's actually a really good box. I just don't want to spend $340 on it.
So I have to see what his YouTube list is here. We're talking about Anthony Vanilla's EC list.
It's not just him. It's every EC list. There's 30 of them, and 25 of them are triple Defiler. But it's just it's one of the easiest ways to get a 20-0 right now, is to just shove Defilers forward and have them obliterate your opponent's army in a good pairing.
So Lord Exultant, Infractors, Daemonettes, Tormentors, 1 Rhino, 3 Defilers, and 2 units of Seekers.
Yep, so you have the Defilers stand by the demons, and it gives them crit sustained hits, and on the weapons that already have sustained hits, it gives them crit 5s. So the Heavy Reaper autocannons are shooting 8 attacks at hitting on 3s at 913 sustained hit 1 dev or crit 5 dev wounds, and you have +1 to hit if you shoot something that is not below half strength.
So you hit on 2s, crit on 5s, and you get more hits than you do shots.
And you have a strat for neg 1 to hit, so you can be in cover and stack neg 2 to hit on a Defiler, which is gross because they're enormous, so it's really easy to poke your butt tentacle behind cover, and all of a sudden you have neg 1 to hit.
All for under 1,100 points.
Yep, just barely sneaking in. It's a fire sale on Defilers for sure.
Any other list you want to look at for we're talking about the WTC that just wrapped up in Team USA 1?
I think Folger deserves a shout out. He went 9-0 in the War Masters event, which is basically you take your team's list and you play in a singles event, and then he went 5-0, 6-0, whatever in the actual teams tournament. It's not the most subtle list. It is 18 Alaris, which is under 1,000 points. Can I say that is disgusting? They don't even have a stepped cost. The third unit doesn't cost more than the first 2. 18 Alaris, some Sisters of Battle, a couple of Venerable Contemptor Dreads, 1 unit of Bikes, and then a unit of Wardens led by Valerian, and it just takes... So Lions of the Emperor is really good for the Alaris because it's +1 to hit and wound, which +1 to hit was not very good in 10th, and +1 to hit is phenomenal in 11th because it basically means your army now ignores cover. So Lions of the Emperor went from functionally +1 to wound to now +1 to wound, ignore cover. And it's a 2 DP detachment, and maybe it should be a 3. And then you just get to splash in the Solar Spearhead, aka Might of the Moritoi, for your Contemptor Dreadnoughts, as just like obnoxious little side pieces that your opponent can't deal with while also dealing with 18 Alaris. And then the other neat thing the Alaris do is they have once per game uppy downy, but if you use Lines of the Emperor to split one 6-man into 6 individual guys, each guy can uppy downy by themselves. So you have like 6 teleporting dudes to go around and do your actions and stuff, and be super obnoxious to kill. Like we saw a list early in 10th that tried to do a party bus where you like took a Land Raider and a ton of individual characters like Gravis Captains and whatever, and we're like, all these guys are super obnoxious to kill. You would rather point a ton of guns at one unit than like point a few guns at 6 individual units, because of how dice work. Some of those guys are going to live due to variance, and the Lines of the Emperor just kind of exacerbates that problem with the Alaris. So I mean, it's a phenomenal list. Folger's a great player, and he's obviously very experienced with Custodes, so shout out to him.
Yeah, 13-0, 14-0 over the course of the events. That's a crazy run.
Let's look at the Ork list, since we talked about Orks on the previous episode here.
I mean, it's Equatorial Hordes and Freebooters, which is what we expected. It's got the big Gaz unit, it's got big bosses with Pain Boys and more big boy units, and then it's got the traditional, like, other good Ork units we like to see: Flashgets, Zodgrod, Grots, Wazdaka, and then the little trashy units, Commandos, Trucks, whatever. Again, it's not like they're not breaking the mold here. They're not showing up with some secret undiscovered tech that they cooked up while they were preparing. It's just a really, really efficient list in the hands of a world-class player.
Now let's see what his YouTube song is. I'm curious. At last? Okay, interesting.
I'm not really sure what the implication is there, but okay. Yeah, but shout-outs to the USA team for winning WTC. Bring it home for the boys in blue.
They were the only undefeated nation with 5 wins and 2 draws. France lost the last round against Germany. So shout-outs to Germany for beating France for the first time in history, maybe. Might have to fact-check me on that one.
Luxembourg showing up.
Yeah, no teams ever lost all their games either, which I don't know if that would be expected at WTC or not. I generally don't follow it super closely, but I mean, they only lost 2 rounds.
I mean, Hungary and Estonia were close. One tie.
They're still good enough to, like, they're showing that they're good enough to be on the stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a very small, underdeveloped in terms of 40K, the sample population is very low. The amount of events I'm sure they get locally versus internationally is probably very skewed. So,
and like, here's the thing: most of those players probably would stomp at an average RTT. Like, it's the world, like the world teams championship. It's not like you're bringing little Timmy from down the block there just because you can't get somebody else. You're still getting the 5 best players in a country, so they're still definitely cracked players.
Yeah, well, I mean, just look at the names on the list.
Wesley St. Hines on Asher Militarum. Who could have seen that coming?
Bridgehead Strike and Siege Regiment.
Yeah, again, it's not anything super groundbreaking. It's a bunch of Scions, it's a bunch of heavy weapons teams, it's a bunch of the like good trash units. And it's playing Disruption. It's like falling on the Disruption grenade for the team because nobody wanted to play that disposition.
Yeah, I think that WTC also is a really beneficial, or it's not super beneficial to play something off the wall because people have so much time to review lists and stuff like that like at an RTT, if you're playing a unit that no one's ever played before, like they're not gonna have time to research it in between rounds. But at WTC, you have like a couple weeks, I believe. All right, Spooky Scary Skeletons for is this for Necrons?
Necrons, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, that fits.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair, and it's Cursed Legion too, so it's doubly fair.
Yeah, old 10.
Dude, Preston, are we gonna ever make WTC?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say they asked me this year, but I told them I was busy. I had the RTT at Jerseys this weekend.
Hey man, you gotta
make it.
Makes sense. I'm gonna start taking performance enhancing drugs for Warhammer, and I'm gonna get on all the teams.
Brain expanding drugs.
And say, what would those be?
I think they call it having a stroke.
Tylenol. Tylenol.
Deodorant, Tylenol, you know.
Yeah. The Limitless pill also. I'm trying to find that.
Let me know if that works out.
All right.
I need some stock tips. But yeah, so we can wrap here. Just a quick casual conversation about some stuff we played recently and what we thought of it. Overall, I mean, I've only played 1 game this edition, 2 games this edition. I've enjoyed both. I don't mind the disposition. I don't mind the secondaries. It's just a little bit weird still, but I mean, I like the change.
Yes. Overall, I think that the people who are like, oh, 11th edition, the sky is falling, I think that those people were wrong. I do think there are some flaws in the game, but I trust GW to make the corrections they need to be making. I think that the meta is shaping up to be relatively healthy for most armies right now.
Unless you're Black Templars.
Yeah, Black Templar, Death Guard notwithstanding. But honestly, some of the armies that are even in the E win rate column, like, they're still decent armies. I think Eldar is decent. I think Drakari is decent. I think Guard is decent. I don't know enough about Grey Knights to have an opinion, to be frank with you. I think Chaos Knights are not very good. I don't think Agents of the Imperium is a real army. So
they are for the one player that's playing them.
Yeah. So I think that for sure Death Guard, Black Templar, and Chaos Knights need a little bit of assistance. But I think most of the armies in there, Grey Knights just have a question mark next to them. But everything else is like, I think it's definitely a playable army. I think I would not be surprised to hear they won an event. That is a flat line.
1% drop, over the last month. Not, anything major.
Yeah.
But hey, Brotherhood Strike has a 49% win rate. So hey, they have one detachment that has a almost good win rate.
Well,
which is probably true for a lot of these.
Maybe this edition will earn a second upgrade sprue.
Yeah, they still won't get a Terminator refresh.
They'll get a new Terminator character, so he'll just stand out against the old Terminator models even worse.
That's a drop. Of course, it's agents. It doesn't really matter, but still. Because it was, I think, one player that popped up that win rate last time.
Wasn't that Folger?
I don't remember.
I don't know if that was this edition or not. I know Folgers took agents to an event.
Way to skew the meta. All right, yeah, we can wrap here. Everybody have a good week. If you want to buy Agents of the Imperium, Mason, do you know where one might be able to buy some of those models?
Yeah, just go and root around your local dumpster, and you'll probably find some models. But if you want to find models new in box and occasionally some used models, you can go to Warpfire Minis. We have an affiliate link in our bio. It'll cost you nothing additional. It'll get you parts below MSRP, and it'll help support our podcast.
That's very nice. And if you wanted to, and maybe join the Patreon, email us, openplaypodcast@gmail.com, join the Discord, talk to us there. Yeah, there's other things you can do.
Mail us all your used Agents of the Imperium minis.
No, let's not do that, please. I have enough trash I got to take out already.
Fair enough.
But yeah, y'all have a good week. Have a good night. Go play some games.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.